Hey guys, it's Pastor Chris here. Welcome to this poolside chat. You know, I am a political junkie. I love politics. We just had the Iowa caucuses for the Republican Party. And it's just, to me, it's fun to hear debate, to hear what people want, to watch the democratic process in action. And I love it, you know, I love American politics, I love Irish politics, I love Filipino politics. It's fun. It's neat to see the political process work. When I watched the Iowa caucuses and the commentary, many news channels noted that the voters in Iowa are evangelical Christians. And the sad thing was they denigrated Iowa evangelical Christians. They said they did not like brown people. They were racist. They believed slavery, evangelical Christians, was an admirable goal, that they were, evangelical Christians, were brainwashed. And what was distressing was to hear them saying this about Christians. Because it's just not true. And I remember this happened once before in my lifetime, back in the 1980s, 70s and 80s. The bad thing to be a Christian was that Christians wanted to have old people eat cat food. They wanted old people to die, or actually dying, they didn't, at that time they said Christians didn't care if old people would die. It was a small price to pay for whatever they believed. They wanted women to remain in the house and not work. They wanted, they hated gays. And I thought there was something else. But it was the opposite of what a Christian is. And back in the 80s, there were a lot of noise, a lot of voices, a lot of arguments, much as we see today. The Equal Rights Amendment, where women would have the same equal rights as men, was very prominent. It got defeated. You can look up why and the history of it, but the negatives of having equal rights outweighed the positives, because the opportunities for women were there. The negatives were that they would be forced to participate in a draft and go into combat whether they wanted to or not, the same as men. And that the monetary incentives from the family through divorce would be erased because it would be equal. So I say that because when you would say what the people said about Christians, when Christians would speak back and say, yes, we want old people to eat cat food. Yes, we want old people to die. They realize that these are stupid statements to make. And when you look at Christians, it's again a stupid statement to make. We're not brainwashed. We don't hate people different from us. I mean, if you're a black Christian, you don't hate people who aren't black. If you're a white Christian, you don't hate people who aren't white. It's not what we're against. Christianity is what we're for. It's the example that's set. And we see that example in Jesus. There's a story of Jesus who meets the woman at the well, a Samaritan woman, someone the Jews as a population, as a people hated because they were mixed race, mixed blood. They were considered lesser people, dirty people. And Jesus went right up to the Samaritans and first approaches a woman. James, the end of James, it says how we behave. Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and the religion is worthless. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. So not only do we have Jesus to look at as to how we treat others, we have the actual command of what to do, what makes God happy. And that's our goal. Looking down on other people is not something that God says to do or has done. Denigrating others is not something God says to do or did. And being brainwashed is not a blind faith. It's a faith based in logic, reason, and choice. So I say this because I think it is dangerous talk when you say this is what Christians do. They hate immigrants. They hate people of color, people different than themselves, however you want to say it. And they're easily brainwashed. Because every Christian out there I know, and I would dare say everyone you know, it's the opposite. So I hope this talk doesn't begin, but it has been said, and I mean out loud, by a lot of the political commentators out there, unfortunately. So, Christian, show people who we are. The end of the book of James. Keep a tight rein on your tongue. Watch over the widow and orphan, and keep yourself unpolluted from the world. Friends of Christians, don't listen to what is said about the Christians. Look at the examples of the people who you know are Christians, and you'll see the truth. So, I guess my whole message is summed up as this: we are Christians being looked at. Let's live up to that standard that God set, so that people who lie will be put to shame. Oh, it sounds kind of forceful when I say it, but let's live that life the way God asked us to live it, to please Him. And all the rest of it, you'll just be seen for the truth, for who you are. All right, guys, thanks for joining today. I'm Pastor Chris. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble at FL Compass Church. Be sure to follow us. Let your friends know. And we'll be here Saturday to share again. Have a wonderful week. Be blessed. We'll see you Saturday.